We are live. How about you, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Live call-in show. I'm your host, Jeffrey Lee, Senior Recruiting Editor for Auburn Live on 3. Dadgummit. Today is Sunday, October 27th, 2024. We are approximately 21 hours away from the clock ticking down on Auburn's 24-10 win over Kentucky, the mighty Wildcats from Lexington. We're going to get to many calls tonight. Hopefully, we've got some strong opinions, maybe some words of encouragement for this team moving forward as they break the 4-game losing streak, led mostly on the shoulders and legs of Mr. Jarquez Hunter, who rushed for 278 and 2 touchdowns. We're going to get to as many calls as possible. Joining me, as always, 100% of the time, they are here when they're here. Mr. Cole Pinkston, Mr. Allen Head. How about you, fellas?
How about you? Yes, sir.
How about you, big dog? Look, I don't have to sit here. We get to talk about a win.
No excuses.
No excuses. Jay Lee had a little bit, the corner had a little bit of fun at Jay Lee's expense as it pertains to Jarquez Hunter.
He's good. I told y'all he's good.
I agreed wholeheartedly.
I mean, shit. What did you expect? Him to be bad?
Dude, your response was perfect. He's a good back. Yep.
Nah, Zach said I gotta say you can't even say my stash, dude.
No, you can't. See, that's the thing here. And the bet should have been Jay Lee has to die at black.
Oh, yeah. I've got to kill a buck to shave this thing.
Oof.
That's how it is. Before we get to the phone lines, 2 minutes each, man. Give me your thoughts on overall thoughts on what you got. Allen Head, you're starting at the 2-minute mark. Joe.
Just an impressive performance because you finally won. This is a team that's young. There's no two ways about it. They leaned into their best playmaker, and he delivered, okay? You also have to give a lot of credit to DJ Durkin. I thought he was absolutely in his bag. Some of the movement that they created on the defensive line, how they shifted, the stunts, twists that they were performing up front. I mean, I just really thought he got creative, and he probably was a little bit more confident than usual because of Kentucky's quarterback situation. We were talking about it in the pre-show. It's not great, but be that as it may, he knew that it was going to be on the defense's back in the early going, and they absolutely shut Kentucky down when you needed it. And I think the biggest thing I took away from that is resiliency. This team finally just bowed up and said, not this time, not today, not like this. Keldrick Falk got a big sack.
Say it 5 times fast.
Yeah, no doubt, right? He got a big sack, and then the tide just turned from there. Auburn put 1 touchdown on the board, and it's just like that confidence started to grow. And other than the Peyton Thorne sack right before half, I mean, they played about as well and as efficient as you possibly could play. But those are my big takeaways, Jay Lee. It's just, Auburn did what they needed to do. They've learned to win in this game, and they showed resiliency. And I think those are the things you can really try to take away.
Mr. Cole Pinkston, talk to us, big dog. Your time begins now.
Yeah. I think there was a lot more trust in this game, and it all started with that drive where it's almost like Freeze or whoever was calling plays got pissed and was like, screw it, we're going at Keandre Lambert-Smith. And they took a couple shots at him, 1 on 3rd and 2, because they knew they had a 4th and 2 to go for. If they needed to, they were in good position. Take a shot at him. And I'm telling you, I think that was the turning point in the game and maybe the season. That could be something where you look back and go, now that's where the attitude changed. That's where everything changed with the demeanor and the confidence of this team. I felt like that was a monumental moment, at least in that game, right? Take the shot at him, give him a chance. He's the best player on your team besides Jarquez Hunter. Get it out of Thorne's hands when you do that. No offense to Thorne. It's just better that way. And they get a pass interference, keep the drive going, and then take another shot at Keandre Lambert-Smith, and he makes an incredible catch in the end zone on a fade. So that, to me, instilled trust into that offense, and they looked so much better after that and so much looser. And that's, then you got Jarquez Hunter rolling, and it's over from there. And that's how games can look for Auburn moving forward. You're muted, Jeffrey.
See how respectful I am.
Very good.
All right. Yeah, I won't need that long. Here was my biggest takeaway from Saturday night. Auburn is 2-5. They're playing a 3-win team. And I'm watching these kids after the game celebrate like they just won the SEC title. I saw them jump into the stands. I saw them dancing, doing backflips, celebrating after touchdowns against a 3-win team. Saw them dancing in the locker room afterwards like they'd won the title. And I freaking loved it. Listen, my biggest concern going into this game was losing this team, was these kids not having fun, with these kids looking towards the offseason and or transfer portal and or what can I do for me. I saw Cam Coleman celebrating every touchdown that he did not score. I saw DJ Durkin running down the field on a huge fourth down. He was fantastic.
Yes.
And I loved every minute of it. I really did. That was the biggest takeaway from that game, was seeing those kids loving it, having fun.
Absolutely, Jeffrey, because you and I both saw 2012 when those kids just checked out.
Mm-hmm.
They were just done. They quit, right? There was none of that. You were absolutely right. They celebrated. They treated this like a big game. They're in. You can tell. That's the other thing. They are so bought into what this coaching staff is trying to do. Now, you can criticize this coaching staff for some of their coaching decisions, in-game management, but the culture that they're building and the way they're bonding these guys together, you can't fault them for that. They've done a fantastic job as far as creating buy-in and getting these kids to just really be a team. And that's hard to do in today's era, right? It is hard to do in this NIL era, TikTok era, where everybody's worried about their clicks, their views, their money, whatever else. That was a team that celebrated, that liked each other last night, that is learning to win. And I'm with you. You're not worried now, because that was a concern for me. Do they have one eye to the transfer portal?
Mm-hmm.
How, you know what I mean? Are they going to start saving themselves? You're going to start seeing red shirts? None of that, right? You saw a team that played collectively together and celebrated as a team afterwards, like they should have.
Well, they knew how close they were. They knew it.
Yeah.
It's not one of those where, they lay down in every game, because they're certainly not laying down in every game. I feel like now seeing them actually, get it done, it feels like going back to the other games. There were so many times when the game was taken out of their hands, maybe by something that the quarterback did or a play call that just wasn't right. And I don't feel that way about this game. I really believe they put it back in the players' hands and let them handle it. And that's why they're so loose and they played so much better, I think, at every phase of the game. I mean, the quote from Hunter last night, from Jarquez Hunter, he said, "I felt like we were wearing them down." He said they quit.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we want people to do, quit in the fourth quarter. And he felt like it was him and the offensive line and Keandre Lambert-Smith that made them quit, right? They finally showed some life again at the end, Kentucky, and they start putting a drive together. Bam, take it away. K&L interception. Make you quit.
Man,
so they got the right attitude. They got the right attitude.
Well, I'm expecting some lively calls tonight as Auburn gets back on the winning track. But before we get to the phone lines, I want to say, if you're in or around Auburn, Opelika, Lee County, you're looking for a realtor, you're looking to sell your house, looking to find another house, looking to maybe upgrade, maybe even find a house for a long-term rental, short-term rental. Look no further for the help you need, folks. Miss Jessica Andrews with the Talents Group. Give her a call, 334-704-4442. She is a 5-star realtor, despite having all those 4s in her number. And I want to give you a little anonymous testimonial from one of her recent clients. Quote, "Thank you again and again and a million more for going above and beyond for us. Wish we had found you sooner. You are fantastic." That is straight from the horse's mouth. Folks, give her a call. 5-star realtor, Miss Jessica Andrews with the Talents Group, 334-704-4442. As always, tell her we sent you. All right, Zach in the back, who's come to the front. I suspect you came to the front for a reason.
Yeah, lots of callers tonight.
Okay.
All right.
We're going to kick it off. Same place as always. Kevin, you're live.
Kevin from Wilmer, Alabama.
Yeah!
I love it, Kevin. When you come in fired up like that, it starts the show off perfect, big dog.
Alan was so excited to hear that.
I was.
How about Jarquez Hunter?
Kevin, how much did you enjoy that game last night, buddy?
I love it. Woo!
He's fired up. Hey, I believe it's Kevin's birthday, y'all.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Today?
Happy birthday, Kevin.
Happy birthday, man.
On Tuesday.
Yeah.
Okay. Jeffrey's still waiting on his invitation, by the way.
I got it.
I
Okay.
invited all of you to my birthday party Friday night.
I like it.
It's gonna be up in Coleman. It's
Okay.
gonna be up in Coleman.
Okay.
So we won't be able to make it, Kevin, but just knowing that we are invited means the world to us. Truly does.
Yes,
and
it
he did. He texted me after the show last week, said all of you are invited. Cole, Zach, Allen, everybody's invited. So we appreciate that, Kevin. So you feeling much better about the Auburn Tigers?
Alan, what's the status on Nehemiah Offer?
Naheem Offord? I think Auburn's sitting in a pretty good spot, Kevin. I'm going to be honest with you. It's going to be – I think Auburn is as in good a position as they can possibly be at this point. I still think it's going to be a difficult flip, but I like the odds right now. I really do. I think there's confidence at Auburn.
How about Zion Grady?
Name we haven't heard about in a long time.
I haven't heard him much lately. I'm not putting too much into him right now. But
Yeah,
we'll
I don't know where the staff is on him. That's the bigger deal.
I can't wait to see Alvin Henderson making some touchdowns next year.
I briefly spoke to Alvin last night. He was excited about Hunter's big night for sure.
The all-time leading rusher in the state of Alabama, Mr. Alvin Henderson, is how we will refer to him.
Yeah, Jarquez had some stats kind of like Alvin last night, didn't he?
That was very Alvin Henderson-like.
It was.
It certainly was.
278 and 2 touchdowns. A first time Auburn back has done that since.
And I like number 5 touchdown too.
Carry on Johnson, 2017. I think I heard that on the broadcast. 7 years since Auburn's rushed for 202. Sorry, Keandre Lambert-Smith, Kevin, big time dude. That's a big time player.
Yeah, I think Cam Coleman played good too.
Me too. I thought he blocked really well.
Quietly good game for Cam Coleman. Very good.
Some possession yardage.
I might see y'all at the game Saturday, maybe.
Come on with it, big dog.
Bring it.
Yeah, bring it.
If you come, Kevin, you let us know, all right?
Yeah.
All right. bring
and
that.
I'm glad we got Alex McPherson back.
Man.
Big difference.
Great point right there, Kevin. I think everybody is.
Talk to you y'all later.
All right, Kevin. War
Sounds
Eagle,
good, buddy. War Eagle.
Kevin, happy early birthday, man.
That's the way you get this daggum show started right there, folks. Yeah. Kevin from Wilmington.
Yes, sir. Dude, that's my absolute favorite. When he comes in fired up like that.
Yeah. I'm going to have to go back and listen to that.
I'm telling you, dude, that gives me some chills.
Good stuff, Kevin. Appreciate you, big dog.
3276. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Paul, and I'm in Cape Girardeau, Missouri.
Oh, wow. Paul from Missouri. I think our first Missouri caller.
Yeah,
I think so.
Let's go Red Hawks.
I just subscribed earlier today. I really appreciate what you guys do. I love the content. Anyway, it was just good to get a win yesterday. That's the biggest thing. Seeing the young players lead is just good to see. I think it bodes well for the future. Still, the situational, issues such as the end of the half.
Yes.
Hard drill field goals are a little bit frustrating to see, but overall good to get a win. And I got to say one thing. I think that Auburn, having lost last year to Pavia, is going to help them next week. We're in a situation no other team's in, having lost him last year. I think there's going to be a revenge factor. I know he plays for a different team. I think we're going to be ready. I'm looking forward to it.
I think you're right.
Well, they certainly will not take him for granted. That's for sure.
No, absolutely
That's
not.
sure.
Absolutely not.
Paul,
Well, I appreciate it, guys. I look forward to listening to the rest of the show, and I'll be checking back with you another time.
Paul, thanks so much for calling, buddy, and thanks so much for joining Auburn Live on 3. If you haven't, go check it out. Auburn Live on 3.
Yes.
Thanks, guys. See ya.
Appreciate you, Paul.
Thank you.
A familiar caller here. We got Carter. Carter, you're live, man.
Get on in here, Bama Bride.
About you, gentlemen. How the hell are you?
And
Yeah, I know
Batchy,
you're
too.
fired up. You got to be fired up there, Carter.
Hey, you know what? Finally, I'm actually sitting here with my cousin Davis has called in a few times, and you know what? Finally, we run the freaking ass ball, and we shove it down their throat. And you know what? It just was so nice to not sit there and have to worry after the first quarter. Is Peyton going to throw a pick? Are we going to put ourselves in a situation where it's 3rd and 11 and we've got nowhere to go but throwing the ball, and everyone else in the world knows what we're going to do then? And so it just, it was so nice to just, I don't care who it was against, Kentucky or anyone else. You finally can run the ball and have a lane every single time Jarquez does that and look competent. So I think the question I wanted to ask you all was, I'm going to give you all my remaining 4 guys I think will commit, and I want to see what y'all think about this. So I'm going to go Dalen Upshaw. I'm going to go Eric Smith. I'm going to go Mbauchi, and I'm going to go Mr. Alford.
Okay.
Tell me if you think it's more or less and why.
Carter, I'll jump in there and say, listen, I would not argue with any of them.
No.
Alan, you look a little hesitant.
No, I'm just thinking
Okay.
it could be more. I think Auburn.
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking Auburn's got some top targets. I know they love the interior defensive lineman from Maryland,
Darion Smith.
Darion Smith. I think he's an absolute take. I think him and Mbauchi are both takes at this point. I don't think
agree.
it's, I think it's a situation where it's not one or the other. I'll be interested to see on the wide receiver front if they're going to go ahead and take another high school guy that's not necessarily in that top group that we've talked about. And I believe that Dalen is just beneath that top group. Now, he may find himself in the middle of that tier 1 before it's all said and done because he's having a fantastic year. I'm interested to see where they land on him. And then watch for another offensive lineman. I just feel like they're not done there yet. For whatever the reason, I don't know that they're necessarily hunting guys, but I don't believe they're done going after Andrew Babalola at this point, or the young man from New Jersey. I don't think they're done going after either one of those guys. I don't know that they're going to flip one either because it is spatula season. You've had graphic season, now you got spatula season, then you'll have signing season as we get into December, right?
Well,
But
they're in a great spot. They're in a great spot, Alan. I mean, they got 27 commits. They got pretty much everybody that was up there on their board.
yeah.
I mean, for the most part, they got just about everybody that was way up there on the board. And now you get to sit back and go, I've got a great class. I can just add some really nice pieces to it by flipping some guys. And I'm not having to fill spots anymore.
Right.
You're in a great spot. And now it's kind of like Eugene Sante said to us the other day. Don't let us start winning 2.
No, I hear
Don't
you.
let that happen, because then we got momentum, dude.
To a bowl game.
It would be big if Auburn could somehow rebound and get to 6-6 on the season, and then win a bowl game, and you've got that positive momentum for the first time in 4 years. You have positive momentum going into a signing day. Whew, buddy. And look, signing day, as far as the high school recruiting class, is just part 1 of this. They're looking for about 10 portal pieces that are premier, that are going to fill gaps for this team moving into next season so they can take that big jump that everybody wants to see. They want to go beyond the 8-win bump. We're talking 9, 10 wins. And I think to do that, as much as I love this class, and I do love this class, I'm talking about top to bottom, This is the most layered depth I think we've ever added. And I'm talking about immediate impact depth in any high school class I've ever watched. But they still need some veterans to be combined with this to really make that kind of jump forward.
Mm-hmm.
So it's big, man. Everything they do now is a bonus. Getting Kentucky, I think that was their first Power 4 win in almost 365 days. It's been the Arkansas game of about this time last year since they had a Power 4 win. So now if you can start, Cole's been saying this for a while. It's what's done is done. How you started was not great. But if you could finish on a high note, if you can finish in a way that it leaves the Auburn fan base, the boosters, recruits, the coaching staff, everybody feeling like you've overcome adversity and you're moving in the right direction, I think that's best case scenario right now.
I'll add this, Carter.
Last question. What about CJ Wiley?
Yeah, not feeling that one.
Committed.
Not feeling that one too much. I think Georgia is in great position there.
Or A&M.
A&M, that's another one. Auburn, I would say, is running behind those two for sure after his decommitment from Florida State. I'll tell you this, Carter, man, listen, don't be surprised when we are talking about guys like Usman Chroma and Shakai Mills-Knight and Malachi Goodman and Andrew Babalola again. Their names are going to come back because Auburn's sitting back and they can sit there and do everything they need to do to try to flip those guys. And I think those guys will be receptive.
Good stuff, Carter. Appreciate you calling in, big dog. Appreciate your loyalty to the Auburn Live on 3 community.
0032. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Hoover, Alabama. My name is Alan Word.
Alan from Hoover. How about
I
you?
like it.
Yep. I just want to ask y'all, are we going to fire Hugh Freeze in season or what?
Are we going to fire Hugh Freeze at the end of the season? Is that what he asked?
Yeah.
No.
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 I don't foresee that happening at all. And look, I understand fan frustration with Hugh Freeze and where things stand, but I will say it on two fronts. Right now, financially, it doesn't make sense for Auburn. That's a $50 million decision. I think I've said that a couple of times now, but to buy Hugh Freeze out at the end of the year, that's $20 million on top of the buyouts that you've already paid, which I think is an additional $35 million if you count what you paid to Gus and Harsin. You also have to buy out your staff. Then you have to hire a new coach. And you've got $21 million coming in revenue share that's going to come out of the top of your budget moving into next season. So when you put all that together and realize that money is not for forever, or as there's an infinite supply of it, in addition to the fact that he's only in year 2. And again, I understand the frustration. I get the fact that this season has not gone the way that anybody would have wanted it to or planned for it to. But I believe you just have to give it a little bit more time, both financially and from giving them ample time to put this together in a way that they can have their players on the field executing what they want them to. And think about it from
it's not even an option right now.
Yeah, and from a third point, what coach is going to want to come in here if you're only going to give a guy 2 years? You got to think about how that makes the candidate pool look or who's going to be interested if you're that trigger happy that you're firing somebody in 2 years.
5013. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Hey guys, it's Don. How's everybody doing?
Hey, Don.
Don
Going
been
on,
on hiatus. Yeah.
Coming in hot.
Yes. Well, no. Cole will tell you I called a couple of weeks ago, and Jeffrey, you and Alan weren't there.
Oh!
He sure did.
And had a good conversation. I was talking to Cole about going to the Homewood Parker game and everything. And let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all think that will Parker and Sarah Land by chance end up playing in the finals? Probably. Aren't they both 6A?
Yeah.
I think Parker Sherland is. I don't know about Parker.
Parker's 7A.
7, yeah.
Is Parker 7?
Okay.
I thought
I think there's
Let me see.
his name is Clay Chalkful.
Homewood 6A.
Yeah, they're 6A. I'm almost positive they're 6A.
Oh, mine are 6A.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've seen Parker play twice and everything, and I'm gonna tell you what, guys. I'm hoping and praying we can get over it because that kid almost play. He does everything for Parker. He's kind of like the Travis Hunter of Alabama high school football because he's out there on the field almost the whole night playing offense, returning punts and kicks. Does a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
He's a great athlete.
6A, Region 5.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Are y'all still liking our chances with Overford?
I do.
Yep.
Okay. And
I
by the way,
think it's-
guys, I got to go to Biloxi this weekend, and with it being in Mississippi, I didn't realize that Biloxi and where Deuce Knight plays, I believe it's Lucedale, everything. I got to meet his cousin and talk to his cousin for about 20 minutes, and his whole family, they love Auburn, and Deuce is coming down there with attitude in the spring to try to win the job in the spring. Do y'all think that Auburn could survive next year and Freeze could survive playing a true freshman, or do you think they need to go in the route of getting a transfer quarterback?
They'll get a transfer.
Yeah, they're gonna have to get a portal guy, I think.
Okay. Are y'all, have y'all heard any rumors about any college guys yet? Because I know that the NIL collective people can contact them, just not the coaching staff. Is that right?
Don, I'll be honest with you. Even if I had heard it, I'm not going to say it on this podcast. You can bet that, man.
That would.
Well, we got Co and Jeffrey and guys. When with the state championships being in Birmingham and everything, I'm sure you guys will be up here covering it. Hopefully I can run into you like I saw Co at that Thompson game. And Co, buddy, that made the waves with that picture of me and you shaking hands.
Yeah, I know it. That was awesome.
Well, guys, I always enjoy talking to you. And by the way, Jeffrey, usually when you call in with Landrum and Pat on Jocks on Tuesdays, I'm up there with them at a local establishment in Homewood having a good time. They do a remote every Tuesday, and I'm always up there with them. And I think they think every now and then they're calling you. And that, I got them to say hello to you the other day, and I heard what you said. Yeah, that deadgum old Don. He calls everybody, and I do. I talk on the radio every day, guys.
Don is like Stacy from high school. He gets around.
No, hey now. Shots fired.
I got some breaking news for you, fellas. I done changed establishments. No more Twin Peaks for me.
Oh,
what you got?
Well, you're really gonna laugh at me now. I'm going to Hooters again.
The OG.
I told you you'd laugh and everything. Yeah. Me and some buddies that live in Pelham, we go to the one in Pelham and everything. But
hey, good for you, Don.
Talking to y'all, and hope to talk to you soon, fellas.
All right, Don. Appreciate you, big dog. I don't have to tell him not to be a stranger.
Nope. Don playing the quarters trick.
I was just so y'all know what Region 2 7A looks like in Alabama high school football, by the way.
Is it Thompson and Hoover and
yeah?
Auburn?
Well, it's not Thompson. It's Auburn, Carver, Central, Enterprise, Opelika are all in that region.
Good God,
that's wild.
Yeah, it is.
I guess Thompson wouldn't be in a region with Auburn though. Wouldn't make any sense. I haven't covered high school football in 27 years.
Thompson's Region 3 with Hoover, Hillcrest, Tuscaloosa, Hewitt, Trussville, Prattville, Vestavia Hills. Some of those. Yeah.
Well, you know who I pull for in high school? The schools that post their stats on Max Preps.
It just makes your job so much easier, I'm sure.
I love those guys. I like the ones that get their film updated, all that stuff.
I mean, when I do the commit tracker and I'm able to do absolute stats and then go to Huddle and get their game film, mid-season film, first 7 game films, dude, that is fantastic for our readers and stuff to be able to see the game film highlights, see the stats, know where they're playing next week, and see maybe a rough cut of the season highlights. So that's who I pull for. And Thompson is one of them.
Oh, yeah.
1271. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
What's up, guys? It's Blake, man, from Mobile.
Blake from Mobile.
What's up, nice.
Blake, first time caller?
Yes, sir.
All right. Welcome to the show, big dog. What's on your mind tonight?
Yeah, man. Just excited, man. Just to see Auburn just to see those guys fight, man. You know, something I saw, it looked like when they went down 10, I didn't see anybody nervous. I just seen guys itching to make a play. And
Yeah.
that's just something that really stood out to me about those guys. Like, man, we lost enough, you know. And they just pulled together and found a way to win. And I just couldn't be more proud of them. I mean, look at the team we just beat. I mean, you look halfway through the third quarter, and I was like, Kentucky don't want to hit, man. They're tired. They're ready to go home.
That's right.
We just laid it on them. So just super proud of the guys, man. I just can't say enough about that performance, especially from Jarquez. You know, I know Peyton had his moments, man, but he got us over the hump last night. That's all we can really ask of him.
And the offensive line, let's don't lose sight of that. My goodness, he had some holes to run through. And I tell you what, Cole, go back. I can't remember. I think it was early in the second half. They put Damari in there to spell Jarquez and ran, and it was almost the hole was outside, and Damari, just kind of look for that play, Cole. Look for a play where if Damari bounced it outside, which is something that Jarquez was. It was the difference between the two backs. It was the vision. Again, I'm not smart enough to articulate it, but look for that play.
No, I'm with you, and I feel like Jeremiah Cobb. That's something where he's going to have to continue to work and learn and be patient, and the vision's going to have to come because he's extremely physically talented. But he was planting his face mask in the backside of the offensive lineman 9 times out of 10 last night. You know what I mean? He was not necessarily seeing things and pressing the hole.
Jarquez was feeling it. He was feeling it, son.
He was.
Guys, just one more thing, and I'm gonna get off, man. Just from a recruiting perspective, man, Auburn's got guys at every position now. Like, you can look at every position group and point out, like, okay, that's an NFL guy, and I think Freeze did himself a lot of favors. I mean, they have both of your starting corners get an interception. Braden Joyner, he's a younger guy. He played a lot of snaps, and just to see those young guys like Caleb Harris, he could have had an interception or 2, I think. I know 1 for sure. And I think Freeze did himself a really good job with this 25 class just by, I heard Allen had, sorry.
You good, brother. You good. Hey, look, Jeffy will put that $1 in the J-Head drawer for you, man. Don't worry about it.
25.
But I just see a lot of talent on that field. So.
Young talent. Look at the freshmen and sophomores out there. You mentioned all those true freshmen, Blake. Don't forget about the sophomore class of Connor Liu, of Keldrick freaking Falk. Are you serious? Keldrick Falk?
Yes.
Caden Lee had a great game.
Caden Lee. DeMarcus Riddick.
Yes.
Played a lot of snaps. How about Bobby Travis? I mean, you could keep going. I mean, there's a lot of guys that are standing out. Thought Eugene Asante looked like his old self. They've done a good job putting a roster together to this point. They have. It was about to break loose. We all felt it. It was just some minor little things holding them back, and they got over that hump. And now I'm very, very intrigued to see what happens from here on out.
And Blake, I thought you made a good point, man. Not quitting, and they were just going to refuse to lose. Auburn got down 10-0 on the road. Looked bad doing it.
Yeah.
Looked bad. And found a way to score 24 unanswered points.
And should have had more.
And should have and could have.
Should have had at least 6 more. They could have scored a touchdown at the end. Freeze did the right thing by taking a knee on it. But if Peyton doesn't get sacked to end the second half, that's an easy 3 points for McPherson. And this is going to sound like I'm blaming Peyton, but he's got to know better than this. You got to throw the ball past the line of scrimmage on that other one on the double reverse Philly special, whatever.
He's got to know that.
He's got to know you got to throw it past the line of scrimmage there because that cost you another.
He does. I hated that play call too.
That was awful. Why you get cute?
He's got to know. If anything else, run it inside zone, keep it in the middle of the field, and take your field goal. Right.
Well, let's see. Alex missed one. Should have had another one before half, if nothing else. So that's 6 points right there.
You missed one. You almost are like, yeah, okay, I understand. 47. That's
yeah.
Hey, shout out to Freeze though for not calling the game scared, man. I thought he took some really nice shots, man, to his playmakers. I was very impressed with that, and then he did it at the right time too.
Yes.
I saw that.
No, I agree, Blake. I stepped over him. I'm sorry.
So thanks for taking my call, man, and I'll hang up and listen.
Blake, fantastic call, big dog. Do not be a stranger in the future. Really enjoyed that. Good stuff.
It was a very quick comment that Blake made, but was that our first call in a while that said that Peyton Thorne did some good things?
Probably so.
Yeah, I think maybe Edward.
You got to really think about it, don't you?
You do, right? You do. But he's right. Peyton did do some good things. I felt like he got into a groove. Like, look, he made a bad interception. And I know that Freeze said it's the receiver. He should have come back on it more. But I said it on the show with Cole earlier today. I felt like he just didn't see the DB at all on that one. And after that, he got into a rhythm, and Peyton is a real rhythm quarterback. When he's on time and on schedule, he's good, man. I mean, he can be efficient and he can play winning football, but he's got to stay on time and on rhythm. And what Blake said about the play calling, I felt like it was timely. It made sense. It was well nuanced, and they did take shots at parts of the game that make sense to take shots, on downs that it makes sense to take shots.
And by the way, I said earlier that they took it out of Peyton's hands on the play that I was talking about. They didn't take it out of his hands in the entire game. They still stayed with the RPO offense, let him decide what needed to be run, the pass option or the run option, hand it off or keep it or whatever. They didn't take that away from him. It's just when they got ahead and they started feeling comfortable with what was being called, the RPOs looked so much cleaner.
Yes.
They scared Kentucky's defense with the deep shots to Keandre Lambert-Smith. Again, that was the turning point. I'm telling you, that was a turning point moment for this Auburn offense. And then they're playing 10 yards off, and you got the hitch all day. And so, boom, it's easy rhythm throws, and his job becomes much easier, and he's a much cleaner operation. Everything looks better. And it has been that cut and dry at times. It really has. And they just hadn't been able to do that. They haven't taken the shot. They haven't taken the chance. But Blake said it. He didn't call it scared. I didn't think he called it scared against Missouri either until the very last drive when it mattered.
I'd say the last two drives, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Good stuff, Blake. Appreciate you, buddy.
1481. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Wanda from Wilmer, Alabama.
Wanda, do not let Kevin have all the fun, Wanda.
Well, I'm not.
What you got for us today, Wanda?
That was a great game. I lay here and sit here and watched it last night.
Yeah. What'd you think, Wanda?
I think they done real good.
What was your favorite part, Wanda?
Well, probably the second half.
The first half was a little frustrating. It was almost like, here we go again.
Yes.
And it was frustrating. You think about the first drive, Auburn's defense. Did they hold them to a field goal on the opening drive?
They did.
And then what happens on the kickoff before Auburn's offense even gets on the field? Block in the back or hold, whatever it was, back them up. Right. Auburn goes 3 and out, punts it. I think Kentucky drives down, scores. You're down 10-0 before you really know what's going on. And then it was very frustrating first half, especially the end.
Yeah, it's bad.
And then right there at the end, why didn't they go ahead and do another touchdown instead of taking a knee? Well, I guess to keep them from the quarterback getting hurt, probably, ain't it?
I think it was probably Freeze just doing a hat tip to Mark Stoops and basically saying, I'm not going to run the score up on you. We've got this game in hand. We're going to do the sportsman-like thing here and just take a knee. And I understand the fan point of it is look, it's your job to stop us. And by God, we're going to stick this thing in the end zone. But between coaches, sometimes it's just it's your way of basically saying game's over. I'm not going to try to run it up on you.
Yeah. It was the right thing to do, Wanda.
Yep.
It was the right thing to do. It also gave Jarquez an opportunity to do that backflip.
Sure he did, didn't it?
Oh, yes. I thought that was neat.
Yeah. Wanda, what you got Kevin for his birthday?
Oh, she can't say on the show
I
now.
haven't got him anything yet.
Okay. You haven't got anything yet. I hear you.
I got to wait till he gets home first.
Oh, where's he been?
He's at his sister's.
He's been at his sister's. We knew that. Y'all are separated right now? I mean, not separated, but like he's away from home right now. You're at home?
Yes.
Keeping the love going through the Auburn Live call-in show.
Yeah, look at that.
I like it, man. Love connection, baby.
Hey, baby, I'll talk to you tonight on the show. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Wanda, we appreciate you calling in, darling.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Y'all have a good night.
Yes, ma'am. You too. Thanks
You
so
too.
much.
1722. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
Hey, gentlemen, this is Daniel calling from Auburn. How are y'all tonight?
Oh, local.
Yeah.
Oh, Daniel, local Daniel. How about you, Daniel? What's on your mind tonight, big dog?
So, speaking with a friend about this, and he made a great point. He said that, first of all, great win. Jarquez ran out of his mind last night. That was by far the most dominant running game we've seen since 2013, including Kerryon Johnson putting up 210 yards against LSU or something like that.
I think it was Georgia.
But I was talking with a friend, and he made a great point. He said that you know what Auburn team or what Auburn offense would really benefit us this year? And of all things, 2009's Auburn offense, the way that they handled Chris Todd, it put him in opportune situations.
Is that Gus?
That would really go along.
Gus and Chiz.
That was Gus's offense.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, man, that was Chiswick with Gus. Gus at the helm. What was it? Ben Tate at running back. Chris Todd at receiver. But the way they spread the ball out with Terrell Zachary, you had McCaleb running around end. Doing a lot of what Malcolm Simmons is doing now.
Yeah, I think they were 8-5 that year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that was
it was with a loss to Kentucky, ironically enough.
interesting.
And they won the bowl game against Northwestern.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. An absolute shootout, man.
Yeah, it was a good game.
Outback Bowl.
Yeah, it went into 42 overtimes.
And I think it was Nico Thorpe that made the play, too.
It was Nico.
Wow. Look at old Cole.
That was a good one. I will not forget that game.
PAT, I believe.
Yeah. Yep.
Nico, formerly known as Nico Lipscomb.
Yeah.
You're right.
Forgot
You're
about
right
that.
about that.
Or previously known.
Yes.
I covered Nico Lipscomb in high school and Nico Thorpe in college. He was a good cornerback.
He was.
Daniel, good stuff, big dog.
Yeah, man. Well, let me ask you this, and then I'm gonna get off and just listen. But moving forward, I think that getting that first win under our belt is going to be huge. We learned how to win in spite of adversity. How do you see things going this weekend with Diego Pavia coming back into town, same coaching staff that was at New Mexico State coming back into town, but with a revamped Auburn defense that'll be able to show him a lot of things he didn't see last year?
So Jump in there, Alan.
Here's the thing, and Cole and I talked about this on the reaction show that we did earlier this afternoon. For Auburn to be successful in that game, they're going to have to be efficient on offense. Vanderbilt, the way that offense is run is they maximize possessions and they utilize the new clock rules to their advantage. They're almost kind of like a boa constrictor where they're going to absolutely choke you out. If you make mistakes and give away possessions, they're going to grind clock and limit your amount of touches in a way that kind of puts you in a quicksand situation. And so then you're trying to rush and even making more mistakes. And that's what you saw against New Mexico State last year. Auburn got in a situation where they were just unsuccessful drive after drive. New Mexico State would possess the ball for 7-8 minutes at a whack. And it got down to the point where Auburn just made interceptions at the very end or turnovers, and it became a very ugly game. So what you have to do is you need that second half offense that you had against Kentucky. That needs to be your offense pretty much the entire game. You have to make sure that you're going stride for stride with them and that you put them behind the 8 ball, because then their offense is no longer the advantage. If they don't have the lead, then running an offense like that plays to their disadvantage. And then you've also got to match their physicality. I don't believe they're overly talented on the defensive side of the ball, but I will tell you this, they play with a maximum amount of effort and they are extremely physical. And you saw that in the Alabama game where they absolutely whipped Alabama up front on both sides of the line of scrimmage. So you have to have your head screwed on straight. You need to be able to match them from an emotional standpoint, their physicality, and be efficient playing offensive football. That's what you have to do, in my opinion. How it shakes out, I honestly don't know. I think we're going to find out pretty quickly in that game, but I think Auburn has every opportunity to win it. And this is not a game that Auburn can't win, but you're going to have to make sure that you're efficient in the way that you do it.
They're very similar to a Service Academy offense.
Yes.
It's like playing a team like that. Well, I would look at what Notre Dame just did to Navy. I mean, they got out in front of Navy, and it was over. Navy doesn't have the kind of offense to come back and win games like that. Vanderbilt doesn't either. That's not what they're built to do. These games that they've, like Alabama, what's another big win they've had? Virginia Tech.
Yes,
they were toe to toe with them the whole time, and they were just opportune, and took that last drive and controlled the game, had the time of possession, all that. You're right. That's how they win games. So, I really, and I'll just be completely honest with you, I don't love that matchup for what I've seen from Auburn this year.
Sure.
It scares me just a little bit because I think now you're to a point now where Freeze is starting to feel it a little bit more as a play caller, I think. And he is wanting to take shots and do those things, and that has to happen. But if you do that and you start missing them in a game like this, now you're in a dogfight with this team. And you don't want to be in the fourth quarter with this team. They will find a way to win those kind of games. Vandy will.
No, I agree with that wholeheartedly, Cole. And I think you compare them as far as a team that Auburn played earlier on the schedule to Cal. They're extremely well coached.
Yeah.
Football IQ is very high. So you can't afford to make mistakes and put yourself behind the sticks.
You got to contain.
Yeah.
You definitely got to do that.
You got to contain on as far as defense goes. You know what I mean? And Diego Pavia, and Jeffrey, you watched it last year, man. He is a magician with the ball as far as ball fakes. And he improvises and plays off platform as well as any quarterback in the SEC this year. So you got to make sure that you contain him, that you keep him bottled up, and then offensively, again, maximize possessions. You need to make sure that you're not behind the sticks, that you're on time and on schedule, and that you're not putting Peyton Thorne in bad situations. Running game's got to be there. Absolutely has to be there. I think you saw Texas have some success against Vandy in the run game. I think Auburn's offensive line is better than Texas's in the run game, and I think Jarquez Hunter is the best back in the SEC this year. Lean into that.
One 836. You're live. Who we talking to? Where are you calling from?
This is Eric from Alabama, or from Coleman, Alabama.
Hi, Eric.
Coleman. I like once before, I guess it's been about a year ago. But I haven't been able to listen, so I don't know if we're on any time restraints or anything. Like one question or
no, whatever. Man, what you got tonight?
Yeah, you're the last caller, so you're good.
Okay.
Make
Wow,
it
cool.
count.
All right. Well, what a tremendous win last night. Much needed. I'll be honest. Whenever they was driving there in the fourth quarter, like Kentucky was driving, and they got to the 3-yard line. I was like, oh crap, here we go again. Like, what are we fixing to do to screw this up? And then what a tremendous play by Kay and Lee to get the pick. And probably, I imagine y'all kind of knew, or most people probably knew what play was coming when the dude was coming across in motion, the little quick out route to him. But it was nice to see that we actually had an answer for that play. But overall, I felt like it was a tremendous game plan. I thought Hunter played tremendous. Even on his 23, I think he ended up with 23 carries, and just the O-line blocked. They did an awesome job. I think the moves that they made with starting Wade at left tackle was a good call. Really, I guess my only question is when it seems like it's been a thing, really, I guess, the last 2 years, like whenever the other team is blitzing, they kind of load the box and everything, you can kind of tell it's going to be an all-out blitz, or either they're going to bail back, kind of like Oklahoma did. But it's like we don't have, I don't know if it's Thorne and the receiver not calling like a hot route and then throwing at where they're blitzing from, or if it's just not in the play, that it's just not something that they do, that Gus really does, not Gus, but Hugh does. And I was just wanting y'all's opinion on that, why it seems like we don't really throw at where they're blitzing from.
I've seen it a few times this year. I think that was going to be the plan against Oklahoma, right? But the guy dropped that.
Yeah, right.
So it's something that I think they have. I just don't know if they ever come to that situation that much because the RPO is the way that they do that. So that'd probably be the answer to that. I tell you what, you said something with the play you were glad to see Auburn had an answer for on the near touchdown but interception by Kay and Lee. I think what the answer was they had the better athlete. Auburn did.
Yeah.
And it was just that simple. And that's why I like the way this staff is working with this rebuild, because they got athletes like that.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. And our secondary in the future, next year, 2 years, could be incredible with Crawford, Lee. Hopefully he stays. And then I was looking at the PFF, and it looked like Karras played every snap at safety. I think he played more than Thompson did, or the exact same, which is wild to think of. 2 true freshmen playing that much. And really balling out. They're not really a liability at all to me, from what I've seen.
Well, I think the thing is,
Crawford was awesome. That was a heck of a play by him.
Yeah. Alan and I were talking earlier. That's another great thing about this staff. In my opinion, I think you agree, Alan. They're going to play the best player. It don't matter what class you're in. Just play the best. Hey, those guys were the best, and they're out there and they're making the plays, and it's that simple. There's no seniority here.
No, agreed wholeheartedly, Cole. And I felt like in this past class and in this class, they've done a really good job of not just recruiting great athletes, but guys with high football IQ. The play that Crawford made, that was heads up. That was football IQ on his part to be able to whip his head around there. So,
yep.
Yeah. And I guess another thing is, if we have time, so one thing I've been watching is other teams that do RPOs that I've been wondering why we haven't seen more of is a lot of them, or some of them, do hitches instead of slants. It seems like most of ours was slants, RPO slants. Like so other teams, they do the RPO like hitch or the out or even like the back shoulder, like RPO with like a back shoulder throw. I did see one, or that I can recall in the Kentucky game, was like a little 5-yard out RPO to I believe it was Coleman that was caught. And so I kind of two things, like it was nice seeing more like shorter routes and plays with like just easier throws in general for like Coleman and really all the receivers. And like what's y'all's thoughts on maybe why they seem to do more slants as opposed to other like type of RPOs, or if I'm just missing those and like those designs mixed in there?
Yeah, I think you missed a couple of them last night. They threw some hitches. One of them was the hitch to Keandre Lambert-Smith where he turns up the sideline, gets the first down, breaks a tackle. That was a big play. You also had an out route to Keandre Lambert-Smith in the first quarter that he dropped. It was right on his chest, and he dropped it.
Yep.
Did have the out route to Cam Coleman. He had another hitch to Cam Coleman. I got 3 hitches to Cam Coleman. So they are doing it. They're mixing up the routes with the RPOs. But the reason you probably hadn't seen it in a minute is because they haven't been taking as many deep shots in the past few games. So they haven't been able to get anybody to back off to run the hitches, right?
Yeah.
Well, they did last night. They took.
Do you think like the way we was running it probably helped with that too? Like, having those be a little more open.
No, because if you're running it well, that would tend to cause the defense to creep up, right? But they were still playing off because even though you're running it as good as you were, they're still afraid of Cam Coleman. They're afraid of Keandre Lambert-Smith. That's something that Auburn's offense has not been able to implement to a defense this year that much. You need them to be afraid of those guys so you can run the ball like that.
Gotcha. And how about Jeffrey Lee's man, Camden Brown, with an awesome play?
Look at him.
That was a good play.
Let's don't forget. That's right. Let's don't forget about him. Well, that's a big first down.
It was huge.
Oh, that was huge. Yeah, a heck of a play by him. I thought just everything. There's a lot of plays where the receivers got some yak yards, which is, something kind of different than years past. It was nice to see, really all the way around. But that's all I got. I was just wanting y'all's opinions on really the hot reads and all that stuff. And it's nice to get a win again, for sure, a much needed win.
Absolutely.
And this keeps us going, for the next few games.
I think all Auburn fans would agree with you, Eric. Fantastic call, by the way. Good one to end on, man.
Yeah.
Auburn will play Vanderbilt Saturday morning at 11:45 Central Time. Auburn is a surprising 5.5-point favorite over the doors, opened that way at least. We will be back next Sunday night to talk about the game. I don't want to jinx anything. But fantastic calls tonight, man. Kevin from Wilmer, Alabama. I got a started Paul from Mizzou calling in tonight. Carter, Allen from Hoover, Don, Blake, Wanda. Crossing lines there with her man Kevin, Daniel, and Eric closed us out with a fantastic call. Had a lot of really good calls, a lot of really good comments, questions, you name it. It's a fantastic show. We're going to end it there, though, folks. Remember, Auburn, Opelika, Lee County. Looking for some real estate help? Look no further. Miss Jessica Andrews with the Talents Group. Give her a call, 334-704-4442. Alan doesn't have to tell you, but she is a 5-star realtor. Book it. All right, folks. We want to thank everybody for listening. Thanks so much for watching. For Cole Pinkston, for Alan Head, for Zach in the back who came to the front, I'm Jeffrey Lee, man. Y'all stay at that left lane. See ya.